What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Good, dude. What's up with you?
Chilling, man. Doing all right.
So basically, man, I just kind of wanted to, sit down with you, kind of pick your brain a little bit. Like I said in my emails and stuff like that, there's a lot of people around this area that really want to dive into fitness and weight training and bettering themselves physically in general. And I really feel like there's a big lack of, outlet, I guess would be the right word, because a lot of people think that the only help they can get is like through a physical trainer or something like that. And what people don't realize is, the outlet of YouTube and all of the information you can obtain just by, watching it. Like, I found you maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, found you through super training and stuff like that. And it's incredible, man. Like, I've canceled my cable. All I watch is YouTube. And I really feel like I want to shed and spotlight, you guys, some of the people in the fitness community to help give some of the people around here an outlet,
Dope, man.
And like I think I've told you before, I'm running your Kaizen training program, the 12-week bench training. And, just simple stuff like that. It's not like you guys charge an arm and a leg. You obviously want some sort of revenue for your services and whatnot, which is totally acceptable. And so basically what I'm trying to do is shed some light on that. So basically, if you don't mind, we could start out, maybe give yourself a brief introduction.
Cool, man. Yeah, my name is Mike Farr, but everybody calls me Silent Mike. I'm a power lifter, coach, YouTuber. Used to be on a podcast, do a lot of things like that, a lot of different content outlets. I do some work with Reebok. I do a little bit of work with Men's Health. And I've just spent the last maybe 10 years or so trying to gather as much knowledge as I can in strength and conditioning, in particular powerlifting. And then now my goal is to spread that to as many people as I can, help as many people as I can, kind of reach their goals and have some fun while doing it, kind of break that stereotype of being a badass that you gotta, jump early and kick teeth in. I'm a big wimp. Never been in a fight. I'm the furthest thing from a badass, but I can lift a little bit of weight, and I think everybody can.
Right, man, and exactly. See, there tends to be a stereotypical, like if you lift weights or you like lifting heavy weights and getting fired up when you do it, you're a meathead or something, or you have an attitude problem, which could be further than there are people like that, definitely, but...
I went to art school and did interpretive dance, but doesn't mean I can't deadlift 700 pounds.
Right.
Yeah, they're independent of each other.
Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate the information you provide. I know my roommate here, I got him into lifting, and I kind of turned him on to YouTube, and all he does is watch, you, Super Training, Alan Thrall, the Hodge twins. And it's just cool, man. I really want to try and help get people to stop watching TV, because it's just, most of it's all fake bullshit anyway. It doesn't help you in your life.
Yeah, it's true. You take some of that time, and I'm not really into reading, but I read articles here and there, or books or whatever, but whether it's yoga, meditation, watching something more informational, you spend kind of your off time doing something productive rather than being more of a bum than we all already are.
Yeah, it's like you think you're not really doing shit, you think you're just bumming around the house, but you're learning rather than watching. Yeah,
podcasts are a great deal. I've got a bunch of different weird apps now, fucking yoga and meditation.
Yeah, dude. So how old are you, Mike?
I'm 28.
28, okay. I'm 27 myself, so we grew up around the same time.
Yeah, man.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I got an older sister. She lives in Oregon, and then my mom, and then majority of my family's in Ohio, Cleveland, and Argentina. So basically just growing up, it was just kind of me, my mom, dad, and sister, and then now it's basically just live here in Sacramento with my girlfriend, and then take care of my mom.
So when did you first pick up a weight?
Yeah, I started lifting weights at super supportive parents. They were always into everything I wanted to do, and probably since about third grade, all I wanted to do is go to the NBA. And then, it's always kind of hard to tell, obviously as a kid yourself, but even I'd imagine as a parent, I get into 6th grade, I'm pretty dang good. 7th grade, I'm pretty dang good. I still want to be in the NBA. 8th grade, I'm pretty dang good. I still want to go to the NBA. So my dad got me a personal trainer there around 8th grade, whatever that is, maybe 13, 14. And that was the first time I started lifting weights. My trainer had me do a lot of kind of basic stuff, muscle balance things, train my back, train my hamstrings, just kind of keep me healthy and explosive. Nothing crazy. We weren't deadlifting. I mostly worked out with football players. That was kind of his expertise, but he had a couple basketball guys. Trained all the way through, kind of in that similar fashion till junior college, where I played basketball for a year before stopping. From there, I took about a year off lifting, probably totally. Long story short, quit basketball, got depressed, some other things. Took a year off, got pretty overweight. I got up to about 230 pounds with like zero muscle. And then decided that it was my time to turn it around and try to go back and play D1 basketball. So started just probably age about 19 or 20, doing as much research as I could everywhere. YouTube, different websites, bodybuilding.com, T Nation, wherever I could find information, I would read it daily. And then began kind of squatting and benching a little more seriously. Which then turned into more of a full-time gig as I became like a personal trainer around 2009, 2010 or so.
Yeah, I was actually, it's funny you say that because before this I watched that video that Omar put up, kind of touching on the same things, just trying to get a feel for, things that you've already discussed, so I don't have to beat you over the head with the same questions. But I noticed you talked about kind of turning things around and trying to start moving forward in your life instead of sitting there, spinning the tires. And I've had similar times like that in my life. And the big thing for me is when my oldest brother's son was born. When I had my first nephew, I told myself from that day on that I wanted that kid to have an uncle he could look up to, an uncle to be proud of. And from then on, man, my life has turned around. And it's just weird how, we all have willpower and stuff like that, but something is, someone coming into this world can just change it like that. And it's not even something that you really think about. So I talk about that to bring me to this question. What exactly was it that happened to make you kind of turn things around and start heading into a better direction?
Yeah, I guess kind of two things. One's kind of like a metaphor I use, and then, I guess the other, you just mentioned, someone coming into this world, and I guess mine would be people leaving this world. There's a lot of death around me, kind of in my early 20s. My best friend passed away right after we graduated high school, and then when I was about 23, my dad passed away, and those kind of things, it's people can be cliche, and all these fitness people are about, you only have one life to live and do it how you want and all this, and that's fine and dandy, and it is true. But for me, it was more just a way of to remember those people and to, in my head, justify why they passed away, which some people do with religion and some people do with tattoos and some people do it with whatever. What I took from dealing with a lot of important deaths in my early life is to take what I admired in them, what I loved in them, and then try to become it. So, for example, my best friend was the guy that never angry, always happy. We're doing chores for his dad on the weekend when we're 16 and they fucking suck. And somehow he makes it fun.
Yeah.
We're whatever, painting the room or whatever it might be, whatever junk work it is, driving things to the junkyard, whatever. He made it fun somehow, so that's something, what kind of for me turned into, I always talk about spreading positivity, and that's what I mean in that sense is, if someone's having a shit day and you don't know, man, buying their coffee and line behind you, or opening a door for someone, saying thank you and actually meaning thank you, hopefully can be a little bit of that go a long way. Something like my dad, being the most loyal human being I've ever known, being hardworking, being humble, being really good to those, and truly good to those that are good to him, and truly good to those that he loves. Not just saying it, but truly doing it, and doing it, when the lights are off and when people aren't looking, right? That's when you kind of learn the character. So having those kind of happen really shaped my drive in kind of everything. And then going to the metaphor that I've been using is up, like I said, I play basketball, and in pickup basketball games, if you go to like a good court or somewhere where there's good players, they're not just going to pass you the ball. You kind of have to earn that, kind of like everywhere. You know, at the gym, a guy's not just going to be like, hey, come work out with me, bro, unless he thinks you're smart or hardworking or strong or whatever it may be. And in basketball, if you want the ball, you go get a steal or you go get a rebound.
Right.
And for me, that's just, I guess, another way of saying stop making excuses. Right? Like, oh, that guy didn't pass me the ball, like I couldn't score, I couldn't, you know, I wanted to be on the team. Or you could just go shut up and get a rebound and kind of do it yourself. And that's not do it yourself in a selfish manner.
But proving yourself.
Well, a little bit of proving yourself, but by getting a rebound, you're not only doing it for you, because your team gets the ball.
Right.
It doesn't mean that you get every rebound and shoot every shot.
No, for sure.
Rebound, and you can make a play for your team. So I think that's the most. There's ways of being kind of independent and ways of things doing on your own without being selfish.
Right.
And in this world, I think a lot of people think everyone's against them, so they turn selfish.
Right.
Rather than you could just go get that rebound, and you could do good for you, you could do good for you, and our teammate, and our coach, and kind of everybody benefits. And those kind of ring true to, like, all right, like if I get in shape, then I could help my mom more. If I get in shape, I could do this more, I can do that more, whatever. If I get in shape or I gain this knowledge, now I can help other people more. It's not, oh, now I can get in shape, or I need to get in shape so I can get bitches and I can get money and I can be Instagram famous.
No, I feel you there, man. And kind of what you touched on, it being the little things in life. And, you know, I really think that holds true, because if you do enough of the little things, you know, it's going to lead up to something big. And you talked about, you know, those people that you lost, you loving the qualities that they had. But I think at the same time, it's also important to value what they saw in you and to want to carry that on, you know, want to make them proud for sure. So Lift the Dash, basically, to me, this is kind of a little breakdown, because I kind of want to see what you think about the whole idea behind it. So essentially back about 2007, my grandma passed away, and at the funeral, there's a guy giving a eulogy, and he talked about living the dash, like how on our tombstone there's going to be a birth date and a death date. And that little line, that dash, represents your life. And so that stuck with me, you know, ever since I heard it. And I kind of thought about, for the last 10 years since, you know, I heard that, like, what has always stuck with me? What have I always gone back to? What has always been there? And I believe in me that the one thing that's always been there has been, you know, lifting, strength training, and stuff like that. So in my mind, when someone sees my dash, and if they know who I am, you know, they're going to know that I use strength training and lifting to kind of cope with my own personal problems in my life. Do you think that that's something that relates to you? Do you think that you use the gym as an outlet to kind of deal with the stresses and the downfalls of life?
Yeah, I definitely think the gym is something many people can use, you know, and my homies over at 8 Man Strong, I don't know if you're familiar with that company,
yeah,
but they speak similar words, and for me, it does ring true very much so, where you mentioned previous, unrelated, that it's the small things over a long period of time is how you get things done, right? Rome wasn't built in a day is a very cliche way of saying that, but the truth is, if you build good small habits, do the little things, that's what's going to pay off in the long run. And the gym is just the most basic format for me. Self-improvement, something everyone always talks about. Probably the biggest book industry in the world. It's probably the biggest, right, motivational speaker. Industry's huge and all that. But the truth is lifting weights trains you in so many different ways. Obviously, the muscles and the physical, but the discipline, the hopefully changing of your mentality to doing those small things, rep after rep, set after set, year after year, month after month is how you're going to get strong. You know, and everyone always says, well, how do you build up your squat? Well, like, just squat a couple times a week for probably 10 years and you'll be a pretty good squatter.
Right.
There's no real ins and outs, and I think that is the dash, right? The dash is trying to do these small things, trying to improve yourself, again, hopefully for not a selfish reason, but improving yourself will then allow you to kind of serve others.
Right. And that's kind of what I take from it as well. And like the whole, everybody wants to be motivational bullshit, But like you said, like your dad said, he did it and he truly did it. He truly had the best intentions. And, it's important for people to, to take up maybe not even strength training, just running or just being involved physically, bettering your body, because, the goal in life is to stick around for a long time and have a happy life. And you can't do that if your body's deteriorating on you on a daily basis.
Yeah, 100%. I like barbells, and I think barbells are one of the most efficient ways to get strong and healthy for most people and majority of athletes. But if you want to do Zumba and that makes you happy on the inside and physically better, go do fucking Zumba, man. It doesn't hurt me if you want to go do Zumba. I don't care. But more people off the couch, more people paying attention to the foods they put in their body, more people paying attention to wanting to get better. Wanting to get better is the first step of actually getting better. Wanting to do something is the first thing, and I just think the majority of people are kind of in zombie mode where they're not even thinking about improving this or that.
Getting through the day.
Yeah, and then they'll complain about this sucking. Well, like, if that sucks, how are you going to do it, and how are you going to make it better? Like, make a choice, make a decision, and then make a move.
And just do it, right?
That's all, fucking Nike, man.
Yeah.
Said it better than anybody, yeah.
So, kind of on a less serious note, just trying to kind of get into what things you like. What's your favorite compound movement?
Man, I'm pretty torn between the squat and the deadlift, but I'll probably have to go with the deadlift when things are feeling good. Nothing's more fun than deadlifting, but I guess kind of a dark horse would be something like a chin-up or pull-up. I really like doing chins. I like doing pull-ups, rows even.
Yeah.
A big back movement feels pretty good. But yeah, I guess deadlift. It's kind of hard to beat.
What's your favorite accessory movement?
You're probably one of those rows, I guess. I think if I had to break down the rest of my life to do whatever a main movement and accessory, it'd probably be something like a deadlift and either a chin-up or a bent-over row, pent-lay row, whatever you want to call it. Something you can handle a good amount of weight with, and it would probably definitely be a back movement, both for performance-wise, and posture-wise.
What's your favorite activity for cardio? And do you ever play like any basketball anymore, like pickup games or anything like that as cardio?
Yeah, man. So about 4 or 5 years ago, I guess probably 5, 6 years ago, I was playing in a pretty competitive league, just an adult league, kind of like a semi-pro league, but it was about half an hour away, and that's right when I started getting real serious about powerlifting. Trying to take my squat from 500 to 550, deadlift from 550 to 6, and so that's kind of when I hung up my sneakers in pursuit of this strength game, just because to be optimal at both can't really go hand in hand. So I haven't really played much basketball in probably about 6 years. But if I had to choose, it would definitely be a pickup basketball game. Time flies. You get a bunch of sprinting and jumping in, and it's a lot more fun than any kind of treadmill. I mean, you could literally play for hours and not have a clue. So that would definitely be number one, but that's not what I do anymore. In terms of pure kind of just conditioning work, non-sport, what I think is best is kind of prowler sprints. Prowler sprints, yeah, they're just amazing, even though they're very tiring. And
right.
Fun. But currently what I'm doing is just some low-key stuff, a little bit of elliptical, a little bit of biking. I am trying to cut down weight a little bit, but I still want to squat a lot. So something like a prowler sprint can make you pretty fatigued. So just doing some elliptical for half an hour, riding a bike for half an hour, chilling, putting on some kind of podcast. Again, trying to utilize my time to get better in multiple ways.
All right. Do you think you find more satisfaction coaching others or competing yourself?
Yeah, hands down, coaching. I've never, I've explained this a couple different ways, but I've never really been that excited for a PR I've hit because of training. Hard, but it's not that hard, and programming is difficult, but I've kind of learned these tools where if I do this amount of work, I should get this result.
Right.
Right. In training, I did a 600-pound deadlift for 5 reps, okay, come meet day, I should probably pull anywhere from 670 to 700. Same thing with the other lifts and other numbers, you know. It's just kind of how it goes. So it's not all of a sudden I'm super excited that, oh my gosh, I had no clue I could pull 700 pounds. Like in my head, I'm really into visualizing, and I had already done it like 100 times. So, you know, I wasn't that excited to hit any of my big PRs. But when I see the face of someone I'm coaching, someone like my boy Dan, this kid Nick Pekolsky, some of these super training kids that I coach, and they smashed a huge weight that they didn't have the confidence to hit, or they didn't think they could hit it, but I knew they could. It makes me super happy on the inside. It makes me truly, truly happy to see them succeed.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why, I mean, you basically just said it right there, that coaching's more satisfying because you already know what it takes to get to that end goal. And when you're coaching someone, they may not have that confidence yet. So it's cool that you get the feeling of the satisfaction of like reaching the goal, plus you get the satisfaction of having someone else trust you to help you get to that goal. And I think that's just twice as satisfying.
Yeah, I agree. Them trusting me is a huge thing, and it's hard. It's hard. I've had a coach, and obviously in many sports and lifting, it's hard to put your full trust into somebody, but it's pretty cool when things work out in the right way. Right.
Does anybody come to mind when I ask you who's your best student and who's your best mentor?
Man, I don't know about best student. Sadly, maybe my best student wasn't in lifting. I coached basketball for, I guess, 4 or 5 years at the varsity level. And I'd probably say one of my best students was there. Kid's name was Chris. Obviously, he was a ridiculously gifted basketball player, probably the most gifted basketball player I ever had the chance to coach one-on-one. But beyond that, he was also the most hardworking, which I feel is a pretty rare combo.
Right.
Humble kid, really, really, really gifted, and worked his tail off, both in the gym. I trained him in strength and conditioning, and I trained him in basketball. So in terms of students, and I like the kid, he's become like a little brother to me. So that's pretty rare case, I feel like. All my guys at super training are amazing. The main ones kind of being Smokey, Dan, and Pekolsky are kind of the main guys that I've coached over the last couple of years here. And they're all ridiculously hardworking. So that's hard. In terms of mentorship, I'd probably say like my first mentor, he's my high school basketball coach. I played 4 years varsity basketball. He was my coach all 4 years, and then he was the guy I coached under for the next 4 years. So I was
cool.
For about 8 years, both as kind of the student and then kind of as his assistant. And just the lessons that he taught me were so much greater than basketball. Things as maybe adults figure out later in life, I felt that I knew when I was 20 or 19. Different habits, positive thinking, visualization is something that I think is super important in every sport, and I was a master of it at 16, and people still to this day don't even understand what visualization is. I follow a dope account on Instagram, I forgot what it is, but he posts studies all the time, hypertrophy studies, strength and conditioning studies, and lately he's been posting a bunch about mental training and its effects on strength training. And all that is obviously newer research and hard to research, but they're starting to do it. And these are things my basketball coach was teaching me in 2004. How to train people, how to work hard, just so many different aspects.
Well, I think it's very important also to surround yourself with people, with the same goals or, with the same mentality as you. And it seems like you've pretty much nailed it on the head, like you said, since you were like 16. So.
Yeah, some of it, and people say like, I don't have a super training gym or a barbell brigade in my town, but so there is a little bit of luck.
Right.
But also there's a little bit of sacrifice and there's a little bit of just do it, like I'd say my high school basketball coach was a little bit of luck. I didn't know I was going to go to that high school, and I didn't know that coach was awesome. I knew he won games, but I didn't know he would have turned into such a mentor for me.
Right.
And same thing, I fly to LA probably once a month because I know Barquan has things he can teach me. He's a positive person. in both business and lifting, and just fun to be around. So it's just about, like I guess we said, just do it, instead of saying, oh, it'd be really cool. Like, just fucking do it then. Like,
Right.
if it's that cool and you think it'll help you that much and make you that happy, there's nothing else but to make that decision and then chase it.
Yeah, it seems like that's kind of come full circle for you, having a mentor, learning a ton from him, really appreciating his guidance, and then you take that and you give it right back. And I think that's awesome, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Gather as much information, hopefully the best information, and then pass it along. I mean, I think that's human nature at its core.
Yeah. Do you think you'd ever consider coaching basketball again?
I definitely have. I've actually talked to my boy Jacob Ross, who he works with Luau Day, for those that play basketball. So he works with Luau Day, and him and Luau run some, and other people run some basketball camps over the summer around the world. And so there's a strength and conditioning component, and then there's also a basketball component. And Jacob's trying to talk me into getting involved with both. So I don't know, but it's definitely something I consider down the road. But for now, I definitely think fitness is number one, and then once I get down to 200 pounds, maybe I'll start playing basketball again, and then we'll see where it takes us.
Nice, man. So you just went on a little trip to Colorado, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you guys train at any gyms up there at that high elevation?
Yeah, so I went up there with Bart Kwan and some Barbell Brigade crew. We were visiting Bryce Lewis, very top level powerlifter and coach. We trained at, I think, Rocky Mountain Training Club, don't quote me, something like that. And the actual lifting wasn't too bad. I had just gotten off being sick, so I felt weak anyways.
Right.
But then we went to Rocky Mountain National Park, and just, I don't want to call it a hike, we just walked around a little bit. And then you could definitely feel it. Like,
yeah.
My heart was fucking jumping pretty quick, and I was like, man, I just literally got out of the car, and my heart's already kicking. And I'm not in the best cardiovascular shape of my life anyways, but still, it was pretty noticeable. It was pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to ask you that, is because back in September I went and visited a buddy in Colorado, and we went to a metal festival, but prior to that we went to Vail, Colorado. And they have an all downhill, it's like 16 or 17 miles, all downhill bike ride, just through the mountains. And it was awesome, but every time we got off the bike and tried to hike anywhere, it was like, just night and day, man, night and day.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, because then I'm a pretty big sports fan. You start thinking about the Denver Nuggets and the Denver Broncos, and they're training that all the time. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be at such a higher caliber of a level or something like that, but
yeah, and you think the other guys would suffer. I mean, you think that no one would ever win a game playing at Denver, but
right.
people do.
Yeah. So kind of back to trying to provide some information for some people that don't really know much about fitness and health and nutrition and whatnot. Say someone is just learning about macronutrients. What's the best way they could figure out the right macros for them? And is there a good resource out there to help them?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a ton of resources in terms of just learning the ins and out of it. Guys like Eric Helms, 3DMJ, it's a training, natural bodybuilding and powerlifting coaching that's really, really good. Lane Norton, my partner, Omar Isov talks a lot about nutrition on his YouTube channel. The easiest way to start to do things, and again, how this translates to life is so easy. But you start to track things. So tracking your food intake, weighing and measuring what you eat, and keeping that consistent. And then weighing yourself, keeping that consistent. Every morning, weigh yourself, write it down, track. Taking pictures every day or every other day. So now we have kind of 3 columns that we can manipulate and see what's going on, right? You track the stats coming in and you track the stats going out. And whatever your goal may be. So then track super consistently for 7 days.
Right.
On your MyFitnessPal is an app I use. It's free, not sponsored.
Yeah, that's what I use too.
Yeah, it's easy, it's simple. So from there, hopefully everyone listening's past basic math. You just start to find averages. You could average out what you weigh every day, and then depend on where you want to go if you want to gain weight or lose weight. And then you average out what you eat every day, and literally you just start to add food if you want to gain weight and take away food if you want to lose weight. Now, calories are one of the biggest factors, but there are other things, right? So we have protein, carbs, fats, fiber, micronutrients, and other things you have to pay attention to. But that's kind of the most basic way. If you're weighing 200 pounds every single day and you're eating 2,000 calories every single day, but you want to lose weight, well, we got to find something to do. So we could take away a little bit of food. We could add a little bit of cardio.
Right.
If you want to gain weight, you add a little bit of food. Typically, when we're adding or taking away food, it tends to be in the form of carbs and fat. That ends up being a little bit personal preference, but it also depends on kind of your goals and your sport and activity level. I tend to keep protein intake around a gram per pound of body weight. Eric Helms comes out with a bunch of research recently that shows that maybe a little bit of overkill, but there's not a lot of negative side effects from that overkill. So right now I weigh about 217 pounds. I eat 220 grams of protein every day.
Right. See, and like you said, it differs for everybody. It just depends on your goals. And I think it's important for, you know, people. You get used to things in life because you've done them so many times. And I think it's just something that people just need to start doing. Just if you do it, you'll know. Your instincts will kick in and you kind of have a feel for everything.
Right. Like I didn't track my food yesterday, but I knew exactly what I ate just by eyeballing it because I've been doing this for 4 years. As well as, you know, yeah, like you said, if you're a little less active or you're more into a certain type of sport, maybe even endurance racing, you might be able to take away the carbs and up your fat and even head towards more like a ketosis method.
Right.
Mark's into that. Joe Rogan and some others are really into that.
Yep.
A guy named Dave Asprey is really into that, and there's a lot of research coming out on it, which is exciting. But if you're into more powerlifting, perhaps even bodybuilding, or any kind of more high-intensity sprint-type sport, football, basketball, etc., maybe you want a little bit more carbs and a little bit more moderate fat.
So you're a Reebok athlete, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been with them, and kind of how did you get in touch with them? Or
Yeah, Reebok has been fucking awesome. I'm actually about to go visit them next week, just go hang out. But I've been with Reebok for about 3 years, and it all kind of stemmed from, I believe the original stem was Kelly Starrett, the Supple Leopard mobility.
right.
Kelly Starrett, you know, don't quote me, but I think this is how the story goes. Kelly was talking to Mark one day and kind of asked him, you know, what shoes you wear, because Kelly's really into, obviously, everything. He's a physical therapist, for those that don't know, but he's into movement. He's into, you know, foot position, ankle position, knee position, hip position, and life, posture, as well as lifting and performance. So he kind of asked Mark what kind of shoes powerlifters wear. Mark said, well, there's no really such thing as a powerlifting shoe. We just kind of use a Chuck Taylor or whatever is kind of flat and rubbery. And then Kelly said, well, that's no good. Maybe we should go to Reebok and try to make a shoe more suited for powerlifters. So then Kelly, I believe, brought Mark and Jeffrey Burdick to Reebok. They worked maybe about a year or so helping them consult on a powerlifting shoe. When that powerlifting shoe was about to launch, Reebok flew a huge crew out, maybe 5 or so employees from Reebok, plus a camera crew and a media team, out to shoot some promo stuff on the sneaker itself. And I was involved with just the promo of that thing. And then after we shot the promo for the shoe, Reebok stuck around and shot some instructional stuff with Mark. And I was used as a demo person, and like in between takes, Mark and I just talked as we normally did about what exercises we should show or what tips, you know, off camera and stuff. Just, oh, we should really talk about this cue is important, or we should show them this exercise, this would be really good for their audience or whatever. Then about a week later, I think, one of the employees from Reebok called Mark and said, like, hey, it seems like Mike's pretty knowledgeable, where we have a new branch opening in Reebok that's going to be focusing in on coaches, trainers, and fitness experts. Do you think he'd be interested or a good fit? And Mark gave him the thumbs up. So then they contacted me. And ever since, I've just kind of been with them, chugging along, trying to create content. You know, the brand really just tries to, I guess, do what I do. You know, spread positivity, show fitness in every different aspect. You know, in our crew, I might be kind of the barbell guy, but you know, we have guys with Jen Wiederstrom on the team, and
Right.
some of these other people that are more into body weight or endurance athletes or whatever it might be, and we're just trying to hopefully lead by example in terms of fitness. for our nation, and hopefully maybe even reach some people that we couldn't reach on our own.
Yeah, I know, like, Nike has the Romaleos, and, you know, Adidas has the Addy Powers. Under Armour's not, it doesn't seem like they're very involved. So, yeah, it seems like Reebok's kind of cornered this market with, you know, weightlifting, strength training, and I think that's awesome, man, because, you know, it seemed there for a while Reebok had kind of, for lack of a better term, dropped off, and they've kind of really, you know, really came back.
It was a big transition, I think, from Allen Iverson in the 90s, and they also sponsored the NFL in the 90s,
right.
Early 2000s. And I think when those contracts kind of went away, they had to figure out what's next. And they obviously found CrossFit along the way. But I think, you know, people can say whatever they want about CrossFit. I like CrossFit personally. But they brought, by them connecting with CrossFit, they opened their own eyes to how much fitness is in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And so now I think that's kind of the direction they're heading, is they're trying to be the ultimate fitness brand and help people train as hard as they can and suit them up for it.
Do you think your 16-year-old self would ever think he'd be a Reebok athlete?
Yeah, man, I've talked about this a little bit on some of my YouTube videos, but if I had a weakness, going back to self-improvement and self-awareness, my weakness is kind of enjoying the moment or enjoying small or big victories. And the very first pair of sneakers, not the very first pair, but the first expensive pair of sneakers my dad bought me was a pair of Allen Iversons. Huge AI fan growing up. You know, practice all these spin moves. I can literally picture the commercial that he was on TV with the sneakers. He does like an in and out dribble and a cross move. And I just did that over and over and over. And so no, man, I mean, literally the sixth grade me guaranteed himself he was going to get a sneaker contract. So in that sense, I guess maybe that's why, again, kind of like powerlifting, why I'm not so excited about it. But, you know, deep inside me, I haven't stopped smiling ever since I heard Reebok want to work with me.
What do you think your best memory in life is so far?
Shit, man. I don't know. That's a deep question.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's
I'd say, you know, some of the trips I took with my dad, maybe not one in particular, but there's some random trips. My mom worked full-time, and after I kind of graduated high school and was kind of going to college, but kind of not, I had some time. And during those years, me and my dad visited Florida together, kind of on vacation, kind of on a family trip. My dad's played college football at a school called Benedictine in Kansas City, or outside of Kansas City, and it was like his, you know, 30th or 40th, I don't even remember, football team anniversary, and he took me there. And some of those trips are pretty fun, pretty special, pretty meaningful. Now in hindsight, at the time they were fun also.
Right.
But nothing, you know, it's not like it was, nothing crazy happened. It was just real time with real people, the people you love, and I think those are the kind of memories, you know, in that dash. If we want to get back to it, that's kind of what really matters, is spending real time with real people.
Yeah.
And the friendships you have. You know, there's memes going all around the internet about money and all these other things, but everybody's going to end up in the same hole at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, you know, my goals is the positivity, spending real time, having perspective on the moment, and making a, you know, non-cliche way, making every moment last.
Right.
I don't think making every moment and YOLO and all that doesn't, for me, mean jumping out of planes.
No.
Jumping and eating all the cake I want. But it's appreciating the real things, the real people, and kind of the shit that matters.
Right. And I also think it's important to, you know, try to realize those good moments in the moment, and kind of it is very hard. You're right. But, you know, there's that quote where, what's it called? It's like, you'll never know the value of a moment until it's gone, I guess you could say. So yeah, it is very important to try and, you know, remain grounded and not take things for granted in life, and to truly, you know, value the little things you get in life like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have any major regrets in life?
Not really, man. You know, looking back, every change has turned into something different, whether it's better or worse, and I think that's just part of growth. You know, any kind of change is necessary for growth.
Right.
again, going back to the gym being the simplest breakdown of everything in life. If you want your biceps to grow, you're going to have to cause them stimulus, which is change, and their body's going to adapt and grow. And that's everything in life, whether it's business, family, relationships, travel, etc. And sometimes, you know, a typical American, those are big and easy, right? I graduated high school, that was great and fine. Now it's time for college. Okay, graduated college, now that's great and fine. I go to a trip in Europe, and then now I get a job, and
then I get married.
30 years.
Yeah.
Right. 10 years, 5 years after that, I get married. 3 years after that, I have kids. And so in that sense, I don't think that's actually real change or stimulus, because it's just pre-planned for you. But
yeah, and it may not even be anything, you know, right for you. You may not even know what's right for you because you never gave yourself a chance.
Right, and you didn't make that decision to actually do something and cause the stimulus for change. So I think when you really, you know, for lack of a better term, go against the grain and kind of try to really seek out what you want or need, yeah, that's when the change happens, and I don't think you should ever regret any of that.
Kind of find out what you're made of, too.
100%.
You have to attribute your success to 3 people. Who are they?
Dang, man.
Hitting you with them.
Yeah, has to be my grandpa. I didn't get to know my grandpa that much. He lived in Cleveland. He was pretty old when I was young, but what I do know is that he raised 7 kids on a very poor job, not a lot of money, in Cleveland, Ohio, which isn't the most luxurious place in the world. And somehow he raised my dad to be one of the hardest working, loyal, best human beings I've ever met. And hopefully some of that, even 10% of that, trickled down to me.
That's cool, man.
And then, so grandpa, and then mom and dad. I mean, hands down.
Final serious question, I guess.
Yeah.
Just to, you know, kind of tie everything back together. Why do you lift? What is it about, you know, lifting, strength training that keeps you coming back, that constantly gives you a feeling of satisfaction and growth? Is it just that, the feeling of growth?
Yeah.
And do you think you'll do you think you'll do it for life?
Yeah, I'll definitely move to some extent for the rest of my life, hands down. Sport and activity is deeply rooted in who I am, whether that's pickup basketball, yoga, CrossFit, powerlifting, strongman, or even just doing some machines in a regular gym. I'll do something of that nature for the rest of my life for sure. I don't know if I lift. I definitely lift for progress. I live for progress, and I lift for progress. That's what I've found out makes me happy. Whatever that might be, I truly hunger for some type of progress. I don't know if I lift for the reasons a lot of people do. One of my homies, Matt Vincent, who's a good friend of mine, has a company called the Hate brand, and 3 years ago maybe he gave me his ebook on training, and the beginning of that book talked about hate. And I don't want to butcher it, so I suggest you guys go buy the book. It's probably $5 or $10, and just read the first paragraph. And it might even be on his brand now. He's had his clothing company for about 2 years, but that spoke to me, and I told him, like, hey man, like, that's really fucking good. And he just basically talked about self-hate in the sense that you want to get better. Self-hate that you're not satisfied with who you are. Self-hate that you're not satisfied with the norm, that you're not satisfied sitting around. And it's not self-hate that we listen to hard rock, bash my head against the wall, and have to deadlift with a bunch of tattoos all over my body. Although that's awesome for some, that's not who I am. It's just the fact that I'm not satisfied with the norm. I'm not satisfied being normal. I'm not satisfied with who I am right now, and I know that I'm striving for better. And he put that in way more eloquent words than I can. But I guess that's kind of why I lift. And then now as more of an adult, and as I'm more self-aware and look inside myself, that I do need progress. So once I have a plan and a steady schedule, I know that I can do those small things and make progress. And the gym is just kind of the foundation of my day. Where you even emailed me about setting up this chat, and I had to make sure that it fit in with my schedule, because I need to eat at 11:30 because I know I need to train at 1 o'clock. So
Right.
if we did it at 10, I know I'd have enough time that I could eat. I could have a half hour to do emails after I eat, and then I could go train, and then I can go to my next meeting and then do emails, and all my day is kind of not only my mental point, but my whole life is actually, it is the foundation.
All right, so I got a few questions here, just either or fun questions. Price is Right or Jeopardy?
Price is Right? Yeah, Jeopardy's too smart, man.
Yeah.
Those are all shit I don't know.
Fresh Prince or Saved by the Bell?
Fresh Prince, hands down.
Yep.
Saved by the Bell's horse shit. Fresh Prince is the best show to ever be on TV.
Yeah, man. Monster or Red Bull? I already know this question or this answer, I think.
So I like them all, to be honest. I really do. But Monster tastes a lot better than Red Bull. Rockstar is probably a tie for first or a close second.
Really? I don't like Rockstar that much.
There's a Rockstar that's, I don't know what it's called, but maybe Ultra? Maybe I'm wrong.
You know what?
There's one or two Rockstars that are pretty good, but Monster tastes the best.
That's probably why I don't like it. I've never tried any of the no-calorie ones. I've just tried, like, the ones that are really sugary. I hate them.
Yeah, you gotta get the fanciest, newest low-cal, but the Dark Horse is an energy drink called Spike.
Oh, yep. Heard of that.
Yeah, Spike's the best.
There's not even around this area, so I'd have to order some in.
Yeah, I think you have to order it online.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think so. But it's caffeine content's through the roof.
Yeah.
And it tastes pretty damn good.
Starbucks or Dunkin'?
So in California, we don't really have Dunkin'.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been to like one, and I can't remember, but based on that fact, I'll choose Dunkin' because of supply and demand.
Right. I know you're a big basketball fan, so I'm going to ask football or baseball?
Football.
Football?
I like football a lot. Never played it. Wish I could have, but my high school's too small. But I watched a lot of football growing up.
Yep. Pizza or wings?
Yeah, pizza, man. Pizza's the best.
Froyo or ice cream?
I do love both, but if it comes down to it, you got to go with the real thing. You got to go with ice cream.
Right. Mark McGuire or Sammy Sosa?
Oh man, so I don't like baseball, but if there was like 3 years of baseball I watched, it was the steroid era.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I was probably in like 7th grade. Probably Mark McGuire. I mean, he was an A. He was out here in Cali with me, and he was really jacked.
Yeah, dude. Sammy could hit him too.
Yeah, but he just didn't have the forearms.
That's true.
McGuire had forearms, and he looked like Phil Heath or something.
Yeah, like the little clip of Mark McGuire from The Simpsons in Bigger, Stronger, Faster.
Yeah, he's so jacked.
Yeah. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Ultimate Warrior or Hulk Hogan?
Dang, so that's a little bit before my era. I watched a lot of wrestling, kind of when The Rock was on the rise. And so Stone Cold and The Rock are my guys.
You'll like the next question.
Yeah, all right. If I go back, probably the Ultimate Warrior. Now knowing a little bit about him, and just he was really fucking jacked too.
Stone Cold or The Rock?
Dang, man, that's hard because growing up I was The Rock 100% of the way, but I've met Stone Cold, and Stone Cold as a person is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys I've ever come across in the last couple of years. So now I probably got to go Stone Cold. Although The Rock's still in the game, and I am a big fan of The Rock as well, got to go with the homie Stone Cold.
Jay-Z or Snoop?
So I'm a Cali guy, but I'm more into Jay-Z.
So I assume West Coast over East Coast?
So, yeah, I mean, I honestly, I probably like more East Coast rappers than I do West Coast rappers. I like Kendrick Lamar and Dre and all these guys, but I've never been a big fan of Snoop. And I never really, listened to just one type of hip-hop. I literally listen to every rap
Right.
ever since, like, probably 1998.
Powerlifting or bodybuilding?
Powerlifting, bodybuilding, definitely something I always liked, and it's what probably got me into lifting, watching old Ronnie Coleman videos.
Yep.
But for me, it's powerlifting because it's, in my opinion, a little bit more of a sport.
Bulking or cutting?
Yeah, man. Sad. Like right now, I guess I'd say cutting because I'm doing it. It's probably a harder challenge for my head. I love food and I love lifting heavy, so that part's all kind of easy. Cardio and restricting my calories is difficult. So I'd probably go with cutting because of the challenge.
Right. Instagram or YouTube?
Gotta go YouTube. Gotta go YouTube. Instagram, I can't really get my thoughts across. I'm not very good at writing, so like my captions suck. But YouTube, I can talk and hopefully get some kind of point across.
Right. If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Right here, man. Sacramento.
Love it.
Sacramento is, yeah, it's my hometown. I really look up to guys like Uriah Faber, who's a UFC fighter, if you guys don't follow. And he was kind of born and raised here, and now that he's pretty successful financially and otherwise, he's shed a lot of light in Sacramento and really tried to help Sacramento, and that's a big goal of mine down the road. A lot of people talk shit on it, Cowtown this and small town that. People think of LA, but it's always been really good to me. It's kept me safe, and I've basically been here my whole life, so Sacramento for sure.
Last question. What's next for Silent Mike?
Yeah, man. A lot of traveling. So the next goal is a lot of traveling. So already got a couple trips planned. And then my ultimate goals remain the same. Become a better person, become a better coach, spread as much positivity as I can, and then reach and help as many people as I can. So in the back of my head, those two things always are in me: spreading positivity, becoming the best coach, I guess 3 things, and reaching and helping as many people as I can. And with those kind of as my train tracks, I'm just going to hop on and fucking ride them out.
Cool, man. Sounds good, buddy. Appreciate your time. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Silent Mike, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Google me, bitch.
Google. All right, buddy. Take care, man. I appreciate your time here.
Appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. Take care.